Good morning, everybody. Today is Memorial Day, so we wanna we wanna honor all the soldiers all over the world, not just American soldiers. There's a lot of Filipino soldiers and other soldiers that died at wars. So I want to honor all the soldiers, not only here in the U.S. but all over the world who died for what their beliefs are. So basically protecting their country as they safe, as they saw it fit. Today we're gonna talk about Bitcoin being used as a medium exchange. um, we've been talking about Bitcoin being used as store of value, and I think that's the number one use that people see as Bitcoin as a store of value, and that's the reason why Bitcoin is way ahead of all the other cryptos out there, because of the store of value, which was done by scarcity. There's only 21 million Bitcoins that can be built, and there's only 1.7 million left that needs to be mined, so everything is out there now. The other part of Bitcoin is basically the blockchain technology. And if you remember the white paper, when Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper, he wanted to use Bitcoin as peer-to-peer exchange, cash, peer-to-peer cash exchange. So the Bitcoin technology was developed that way, with that envision. So that's basically the usage of Bitcoin, besides being a store of value. So it's emerging a new way to buy and sell things. So we're going to look at how Bitcoin works as a medium exchange, its benefits, its challenges, and its potential impact on global trade. So basically, what is Bitcoin as a medium of exchange? As you know, it's a medium of exchange is something people use to trade for goods and services. So when we go to the store, we buy something, or when we have something done for us, we have to pay them. And it's usually the traditional money, like coins and bills, that are used, the fiat money, like dollars, pesos, and all that stuff. But Bitcoin, however, is a digital currency which operates without central authority, without, it's and not like a bank or a government that controls money. So it uses a decentralized network called the blockchain to process transactions. So that's the biggest difference. So it's a little bit different because Bitcoin doesn't have anybody. There's no central control over Bitcoin. So what does that feature means? So if you're decentralized, no single entity controls Bitcoin. Unlike fiat money, which is controlled by banks or the government of its country, it's more secure because they use cryptography to protect transactions. So there's a proof of work that needs to be done to, just like what it says, proof of work. That means they have to figure out the cryptography to do each transaction. It has global access. It's accessible to anyone as long as you have an internet, so it's anybody can use it. So it's Bitcoin is money for the world, not only the US or anybody, but everybody who's got a computer can use Bitcoin as money. And they have low fees, especially if you're international, if you do international transfer. Like us in the Philippines, we do a lot of remittance, and it's costing our kababayans a lot of money just to send money, and that's our lifeline in the Philippines, the remittance. Our biggest export is basically labor in the Philippines. It's not goods, but services, labor. and they're the one that's keeping the Philippines afloat with the remittance money that they send. So what are the benefits of using Bitcoin? Again, I want to say it, the fast payments, transaction are processed faster. It can slow down when there's so many people using it, but they have this thing called Lightning Network right now that's fixing that problem. El Salvador is using it for their remittance, because Bitcoin is a little bit slower than most of the altcoins out there, but with Lightning Network, it solves that problem. There's going to be less fraud because transactions are secure and irreversible, reducing the risk of fraud. So they check every transaction, so there's proof of work on every transaction. So it's basically secure. And in the Philippines, fraud is fraudulent. I mean, it's everywhere. And also it helps get rid of corruption, especially in the Philippines. That's why I'm really pushing Bitcoin to become um, as money, as besides pesos, and that would get rid of government corruptions if everybody used Bitcoin. And it has access for all. So if there's people that lives in island like in the Philippines that doesn't have any bank, that could help them, because it's not like traditional banking where there's there has to be a building that they can talk to or go in. All you have to know is have internet, and you have access, so it opens up to a lot of people. But there's still problems. There's just challenges, within Bitcoin being a medium of exchange. The biggest one is probably the price volatility. Bitcoin is very volatile, so it makes it a little bit hard, to do transaction, because it's not very stable for daily transactions. So if you go to a store and try to buy something, and the value of Bitcoin changes every day, so it's not, there's still a problem there. There's problems with regulation because every country sees it differently. I'm trying to figure out, what the regulation is in the Philippines. So if anybody can help me out, that one, we could figure out, because I heard that they got rid of Binance because of SEC, the Security Commission in the Philippines, got rid of their license to operate in the Philippines. And I don't know, what the problem is, but I want to figure out what's going on over there. The scalability, because the network, the more people that use the network, it goes slower, but then again, I told you about the Lightning Network is solving that problem. And another challenge is basically limited acceptance. Not everybody is using Bitcoin yet, but the adoption is getting bigger and bigger, so the future looks bright. I'm hearing more and more companies are accepting Bitcoin now. So eventually there's going to be more and more people. Once the adoption gets higher, then Bitcoin, will basically be used like money. It'll be basically a medium of exchange right there. So, we can use it for shopping. There's companies that accepts Bitcoin. There's online and offline stores accepting Bitcoin now. Not everybody, but there are some. We can use it for money transfers. Again, for remittance, it's cheaper and faster to use it for remittance, especially people that's working, in the Philippines, that's working abroad. We can use it for travel. I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I could check, Expedia and Cheap Air, their travel companies are accepting Bitcoins for flights and hotels now, which is good. So, And also for freelance work, sometimes some freelance people, who travels around the world, they accept Bitcoin, to get paid, for their services. In fact, there was a baseball player and a football player. They said that instead of getting paid by regular money, they want to get paid by Bitcoin, with Bitcoin, which is a good step. And I don't know if they got paid, but they asked, the management to pay them in Bitcoin instead of regular money. So if people can start going out there and charging, for their services and asking to be paid by Bitcoin, that's amazing, and it will be a regular medium of exchange then. So it has to become more common for people to use Bitcoin. It needs to be more stable and widely accepted by a lot of people. So once the acceptance, the adoption will get there. Once it becomes stable, more stable and accepted, then adoption will come in, and it will be accepted as a medium of exchange. So, and hopefully everybody will use the Lightning Network. And also they need help from the government for clear rules, for the regulations. So once regulation is set up for Bitcoin, that would make people to trust Bitcoin and use Bitcoin, because sometimes we look at regulation in a bad way, but in a sense, there's regulation basically to protect, the people. And if there's no regulation, anything can happen. Companies could go bankrupt, just like what happened with FTX, Voyager, BlockFi, and many more. And people can lose money. So the government's job is to protect people. So if the regulation is clear, acceptance will come in and adoption will become everywhere. So hopefully we have a clearer regulation. Right now, Bitcoin's being accepted as commodity. So its regulation is set up here in the US. Hopefully it's going to be all over the world. So once it's protected, more people is going to participate. And that's basically it. So hopefully we can do it in the Philippines. We can make it a medium of exchange in the Philippines and also all over the world. Hopefully you learn something from this video today, and hopefully same thing, you could help me by subscribing. Thank you very much. Have a happy Memorial Day, and see you all tomorrow. Thank you.